Hey everyone, and we are back. I know I've been in a hiatus for a while since I've uploaded any video on my channel, but in this video, we're actually going to be talking about the usage of my DSLR. So normally I do a lot of I shoot a lot of mirrorless cameras, and with my Nikon Z8 and Z5, and I've been using that a lot. And there are times that you want to get back into your old habits, just the discipline of it. So there are times that I actually feel like, oh, I need to start manually setting the ISO, the 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 focus points, because I'm so spoiled with the intelligence of our cameras nowadays, where it can actually autofocus on the eye detect or the face detect, and we just basically just take a lot of pictures with it and it autofocuses. And the cameras are so good nowadays, especially in low light. And I need to get back into my old discipline, kind of slow down a little bit, slow down a little bit, compose your shot, take your time, and just get back into it. So obviously, when you do a lot of events photography, weddings, quinceañeras, or any kind of like in the moment capture, definitely mirrorless is the way to go, because you don't want to miss those moments, and you have to make sure that it's sharp, right? You don't want to take blurry shots. So a lot of these things come into play when you need that critical moment of shots, and you must get it right, the first time on camera. And I already forgotten a lot of that already since ever since I shifted to mirrorless. Before, my DSLR days, when I used a lot of my D800, my D700, D7000, those were my cameras, and I had to actually use the the point autofocusing system. So I had to manually use the directional pad to move my points, and also compose my shots, and as well as predicting where my subject is going to go in my frame. So I used to do that a lot, and I've since neglected a lot of that. And obviously, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to get away from mirrorless. It's perfectly fine. It's just that I've forgotten that discipline. I need to kind of like take my time and slow down, and get back into the manual things in a lot of cases. Granted, in DSLR you can auto ISO, do the ISO there automatically, no problem. But I just like to kind of like set a consistency of ISO, so I have to go back to my manual days. There are times that I would actually challenge myself with my mirrorless camera. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna turn off my auto ISO and just go manual ISO. It delivers more consistent images, where it doesn't overshoot your whites, or it gets too dark and you have to kind of like wait a little bit, like a little delay before it shifts to the correct exposure. But a lot of these things, you have to capture the moments critically. And so basically, in this video, I actually reverted back to use my D800 camera. I don't have it on my hand because it's in my other place right now. I'm at my sister's place babysitting their dogs for a whole week. So that's why the environment here looks different compared to my typical backdrop, So yeah, I don't have it in my hand, but I'll post a little photo in here of what the Nikon D800 looks like. I had that camera for a long time. I've used it on my fashion, weddings, and all the event stuff. And before I bought my D3, because that's also a DSLR, I had to buy D3 for faster FPS if I want to capture some kind of sports or whatnot. So yeah, so I had to go back to the old ways, kind of discipline myself, as well as using the F mount lenses, not the Z mount, not the newer lenses. I had to kind of go back to lenses where it's like the classic lens of Nikon. There's three lenses that I actually use for this photo shoot that I'm gonna show you. One is my 35mm 1.4 Sigma, the Sigma Art. I love that lens, and ever since I got that lens, it's been bookalicious, you know. The other one is my 85mm 1.8D lens. The only way to really focus on that thing is you gotta have like that little key that, you know, the DSLR, you know, they have that little key in there where it's like motorized, and the lens itself is not autofocus. So you have to, the lens will have to rely on the camera body to actually focus with that lens. So I use that lens in this photo shoot. And the other one is my favorite that I haven't used in a long time is my Tamron 75 to 200 mil. So I've barely used it because a lot of the weddings I've taken, or you know, I haven't really been using that length, you know. I mean, I use it for sport photography, but I had to use my DSLR, you know. But yeah, it's nice. Just to let you know, the Tamron that I have is the Gen 1. It's not the Gen 2. It looks like really, it's black, but it's not. It doesn't look like really new. It's not a G2, you know. So, and if I have to adapt that lens into my Nikon Z camera with FTZ adapter, it focuses, but then it'll kind of reset itself, and then I have to focus again, you know. So I barely use it, but it's nice, you know. I miss using it. So as you can see, I'm probably playing a little bit of video in here of the BTS, the shoots that I've been doing. So just like how it looked like. So you see how the kind of stuff. But then later on, I'll show you guys the result of the photos that I took with each of these three lenses, and as well as, you know, using the D800. And the person that I collaborated the shoot with here is, her name is Uzai Brat. That's her Instagram name, so make sure you guys follow her. She's an awesome cosplayer. She's also part of Tribe 3 Productions Cosplay Alliance Elite Team. And we've been doing a lot of shoots with cosplay and such, and she's very, very awesome to work with. And all the costume that she wears is just like, it's beautiful, you know. Usually it's video game based, so the likes of Nikkor, goddess of I forgot, like some kind of game. Sometimes maybe Genshin Impact, Stellar Blade, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so these are the kind of shot that I did. You'll see it, and since I'm in that mode of doing things manually and not too much automatic stuff, I actually decided to use my AD200, the strobe that I have, and I have two flash head on that thing. It's an adapter. One is the normal strobe, the square thing, the Fresnel kind. The other one is the bulb. So since I haven't used the bulb in a long time, I decided to, like, you know, I want to use the bulb on this one just for the heck of it, you know, because the light spreads out a lot more. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit weaker compared to the Fresnel kind. I'll show it to you guys. This is how it looks like. It's swappable with my AD200, and the results have been really good. So it's really awesome. And here's Thor right here, the dog that I'm babysitting. It's a German Shepherd, so don't mess with this guy over here. So he's really cool. Yeah, and at the same time, you guys might be wondering if I've used high-speed sync. Nope, I did not use high-speed sync on this one. So basically, what I decided to use is ND filters. So variable ND filters. So basically another layer of challenge that I'm putting myself in. So each of these lenses that I have, they have variable ND filter on them. So where you just like, usually I use it more for video, but I decided to use it. So the reason why I don't wanna use the high speed sync, because first we know that it's pretty simple. You just like set it up to high speed sync, crank up your shutter speed so you can have the lowest aperture or widest aperture that you can open it up to, and the strobe itself would flash multiple times. You don't see it in your eye, but multiple times. And then, you know, it'll capture the image just like how you have it. Though the only thing is, it will drain out a lot of your battery, like a lot. So, but I'm sure nowadays the newer strobes, they can handle a lot more flashes. But yeah, so that's how high speed sync works, minus the ND filter. So with the ND filter, it's a different story. You save a lot more battery because the flash, the strobe itself will just flash once at a certain amount of power or whatever settings you have. But the ND filter is the one that makes it dark for you. But yeah, so that's like the challenge that I do. And also the downside with the ND filter is that sometimes if you lower, if you darken the neutral density filter, your camera would have tougher time to also focus on your subject. And like I said, depending on the camera of how low the light is, how much it can focus at low light, you know. The day that we did the shoot on, it was very sunny. So basically I'm fighting the sun during that time, and it was like probably like around 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. or 11 a.m. like around that time we were doing the shoot, so it's pretty high noon. So that's another challenge that I put myself into. Like every time we decided, you know what, you know, everyone shoots at nighttime and, you know, like the golden hour and whatnot, but you know, I'm the kind of guy that would put myself in a situation where, how should I solve this problem? You know, to become a better photographer, you got to put yourself in a certain situation where you can think fast, and how do you solve the problem, you know? So yeah, so first I'm gonna show you guys the 35mm lens that I use, and these are the shots that I did with 35mm. I did not put any settings of how I shot this because I couldn't quite remember what my settings were. I did not make a note of it. I should have, but it hovers around like 200 to 500 shutter speed. Then I do 1.4 or 2.8 or 2.0, right? And my ISO in this one, I basically kept it at 200 as much as I can. I did not go beyond 400 in any of these shoots. It's usually 200 or lower, like L1, the lowest of the low, L100, 100 ISO or 200. And my AD 400, my AD 200 flash, I was going for 1.8 in most cases, 1.8. If I had to bring the flash strobe further away, then I go 1.4. I barely did 1.1 of power or 1.2. It's usually 1.4, 1.8. And on the next set, you'd see I used my 85mm 1.8 lens, the Nikon D lens. And it's interesting. It's interesting using this lens because I hear that mechanical whir sound, like wah, 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 you know, because of the key. It's focusing, it's auto-focusing and stuff like that, you know. And you definitely feel the ring like rotating, and it's interesting to feel, you know. It's kind of like, oh man, this feels very nostalgic to me. Using this lens, you know, it's a classic lens, very old lens, and basically it's a vintage lens. That's what it is. So, and yeah, mostly I was shooting 1.8 almost the whole time. I did not really go f2 or higher. Usually it's 1.8, and shutter speed is pretty much the same like how I had it. Like I play at that time, from what I can remember, it's like 200 to or less, but not lower than 120. Usually I keep it 200 because I want to avoid the high speed sync. So yeah, and then the whole time it was 1.8, lowest ISO that I can get out of the camera is L1 or 200 ISO. So, but yeah, so these are the set for this one. And the last set that I'm showing you right now is the Tamron, the 75 to 200. This one I have to use the Fresnel flash on my strobe 8200 because I have to bring it further away. The whole time is basically 2.8 because that the lowest aperture I can get out of that camera, or widest aperture, is 2.8. But the shutter speed I kept at 200 or lower, and the lowest ISO as possible that I can get. Pretty much like, you could say it's like basic stuff, you know, because I didn't really have any kind of adjustments in terms of shutter speed on this one. Same thing with ISO because it's a bright sunny day. So, but yeah, so this the set that I did for this camera, and it's very nice going to that dock area. You know, I just saw it and I'm like, oh hey, you know, she could sit in the pier, and you know, like, I'm not saying touching the water or anything because I don't want her to fall in the water or her boots fall in the water. So, and I was just shooting her like a 200 mil. Like, I went to the other side of the dock, you know, as you saw in the video earlier. Just 200 mil, the shot are 2.8 from further away. I did not use any strobe on this one. It's just all natural lighting because this one's too far and I can't mount or put the strobe anywhere near her. So I had to use natural lighting, and it came out really good. I love the lighting, you know. I think the sun shifted in a way where it hits her just perfectly. So, but yeah, folks, these are all the photos that I took, and it's nice to kind of slow down a little bit and kind of compose my shot, and then have to apply it now to the kind of display I have to apply it now to my mirrorless cameras. So when I'm doing work, I have to, a lot of times, like sometimes I would just put it in my auto ISO to, just put manual ISO because I feel like it, you know, just go manual and stuff like that, and I would still do, you know, do that kind of display, kind of slow down, you know. Normally if I'm doing fashion shoot or a glamour shoot or anything like that, I tend to slow down. But if I do events and stuff like that, then that's when I kind of put a lot of things in auto, a lot of stuff, you know. I'm not saying auto, I'm not judging, it's very subjective, really. The most important thing is you capture the moment and get the framing right and the exposure correct. You'll be good, you know. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy it, and it's nice to be back in front of the camera again, talking heads and stuff like that. But yeah, if you haven't so, make sure you subscribe and like this video if you guys like the content. And I'll provide some more content in this one, maybe more cosplay music videos, more video highlight reel, car shows, whatever, you know. But I know it's February now, I'm supposed to say Happy New Year, but you know what? Happy Lunar New Year, how about that, right? So up until then again, see you guys next time, and yeah, later.